Good afternoon and welcome to Folklore Thursday. Posted up an image a few moments ago of a skull. Whose was it? Well, the story goes like this. In the 18th century, a character called Franz Joseph Gall proposed the Gall system, which proposed that the shape of your skull corresponded to your intelligence. So where it had been the case that the poor and the vulnerable were liable to have their graves ransacked for various reasons across much of history, suddenly it was the brilliant and the famous who were at risk. Gall's new system claimed the skulls of Haydn, Beethoven and Goya, to name a few, but also that of the one we can see propped on those books in what was in fact a museum exhibit, Sir Thomas Browne, extraordinary character, like nobody else really in the 17th century. Browne had this to say about death and burial. Who knows the fate of his bones, or how often he is to be buried, to be gnawed out of our graves, to have our skulls made drinking bowls, and our bones turned into pipes to delight and sport our enemies, our tragical abominations. Browne also had this interesting thing to say about death. I am not so much afraid of death as ashamed thereof. His ghost probably would have been ashamed to know that his own skull was robbed from his grave by an opportunistic sexton in 1840, and it would sit on public display in Norfolk and Norwich Hospital Museum from 1847 right down to 1922. I'll be talking about more traditional folklore of skulls later on today, but this case I think is an interesting one that reminds us that sometimes the science of one era becomes the folklore of another. Thanks for listening.